Welcome to today's session. We're going to be talking about how to switch careers without starting over. My name is Brittany Knowles. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm the Learning and Development Specialist here at Career Circle, where skills go to work. I have brown hair and brown eyes. I am wearing what is this color? We're gonna go with a burgundy wrap dress, and I'm excited to have you all here with me as we dive into strategies for recognizing your transferable skills and building a career map that aligns with your goals. Whether you're switching industries or advancing in your current field, today's session will equip you with practical insights and interactive activities to help you to take the next step confidently. So on the next slide, we're going to be talking through specifically the accessibility of today's session. And specifically, we want to ensure that you recognize that today's recording is recorded. You can enable closed captioning through your browser. We recommend using Google Chrome. Just click on the three dots in the upper right-hand corner, go to settings, then accessibility, and turn on live caption. If you run into any technical issues, please reach out to our Career Circle team members in the tech support booth in the lobby. Now, all the resources from today that we discussed can be located on the content tab near the people and discussion feed to your right. All resources and the recording will be emailed to you after the event. I repeat, all resources and the recording will be emailed to you after the event. Please make sure that you watch until the end, as we'll have the opportunity to ask a awesome and esteemed Career Circle recruiter your questions regarding today's topic. Before we get started with the presentation, here's the QR code for our survey. You can open it on your phone and share your feedback with us. We'll be doing a raffle with all respondents, and one of you will win a career tote bag, okay? A Career Circle tote bag. It is beautiful. You absolutely do not want to miss out on that. The winner will be contacted next week, April the 23rd. If you miss it, no worries. We'll send the survey in your post-event email too. But if you want to give us your thoughts during the event, we'd love to hear from you. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's agenda, shall we? We're going to be talking through career mapping, an introduction into career mapping. We're going to be doing an activity. Specifically, we're going to dive into Google's Career Dreamer. We're going to be diving into career mapping worksheets, as well as we're going to be talking about IBM Skills Build. Then you all are in for a treat. We're going to be able to get a demo of our website. And so we're going to be talking through the skills matching site enhancements that are coming up. Super, super, super exciting. And then you all will have the opportunity to talk with our esteemed recruiter at the very end when we start with questions and answers. All right. So with that being said, let's get into what is career mapping. As it says so on the screen, a career map helps identify your career goals and helps determine how to leverage the skills you gained from upskilling in your job search. Now, one of the things that I want to do today that's super important to me is I want this to be an interactive conversation. And so I can talk to you all about these different tools that we're going to be discussing, but it is so much more engaging and so much more eye-opening if you have the opportunity to do it yourself. Okay, so what I want you to do is to make sure that you are clicking on the career mapping worksheet. The link should be provided for you to download that document so that we can walk through it together. All right. So with that being said, what are some transferable skills? Now, as you can see on this slide, we've come up with a few, but let me tell you how I remember things, how I'm able to assess which is which. Hard skills are what you can learn. And so here on the slide, you have coding, data analysis. It could be Microsoft 365, Google Workspace. It could be project management tools. It could be any of those particular things that you could get credentials in, or you've gotten experience with, those hard skills. And then you have soft skills, which are who you are. So that could include that verbal communication piece, written communication, active listening, public speaking, facilitation, presenting skills. So these are all things that make up who you are as an individual. And so when we're talking about it in terms of resume building and career mapping, we want to ensure that we're looking at what those skills are for ourselves and identifying what they are so that we can best be able to communicate that as we're going through our job search. And so with that being said, I have a question for you all. My question is, which soft skill do you think is your greatest asset right now? What are some soft skills that you would consider to be your greatest asset right now? So let me see. Hello, hello, hello. I love how you all are connecting with each other in the chat. Hello, hello, everyone. All right, Oliver, I see networking. I see communication. I see listening. I see problem solving, communication, technology use, listening, coaching, teaching, training. All right, Joel, you're trying to take my job. I see networking, leadership, empathy, planning. Absolutely. Keep them coming. I see connection, getting people together and to solutions. Absolutely, absolutely. What else? What else? Communication. Hey, Terry. Critical thinking. Absolutely, absolutely. I see collaborating, some more critical thinking. I love it. I love it. And I love even more the fact that you all are able to articulate quickly what some of your soft skills are. And so let's get into maximizing your transferable skills. And so first and foremost, let's do a self-assessment. As we're looking at where we want to go, what positions that we want to apply for, what aligns with our lifestyle, what works with our current situation in terms of work-life balance. We need to identify who we are, where we are, what we are first. And so that starts with that self-assessment. And so skills, qualifications, volunteering experience, certifications, your past education, all of those are things that you want to readily have available by writing it down. Then the next piece is, where are you trying to go with that? And so what would be your ideal career? And so I'll use myself as an example. When I put in to what is it? The AI that we're about to talk to, the Grow with Google. I put in my title, which is a learning and development specialist. And so when that came up, it came up with some career pathways. And so looking at that, I was able to kind of see where my experience, where my background aligned. And some of them were spot on, and some of them weren't necessarily as much. And so my background is in curriculum and instruction. And so it was saying that I should do something in K through 12. And I've learned that as much as I love children, I tend to do better when it comes down to facilitation and training with adult learners. And so it's important that you recognize what your ideal career looks like, what your ideal place might be, so that it can kind of help you to hone in on where you would like to be. What industry do you want to specialize in? And so with the learning and development background, there's so many industries, because every single industry that you can think of has a learning component to it. There's some sort of onboarding, some sort of training, some sort of education that goes into any role that someone might be able to go into. And so that would be very vast for me. what would that look like for you in your ideal career? All right. And then you want to do research. And so this shouldn't just be a passive thing. You should absolutely be intentional about how you are moving forward to map out your career. And so let's look at the job description. What skills are required for the job that you want? Okay. And so that's something with that self-assessment, with us looking at what that ideal career looks like, we now have to assess if what I currently have aligns with where I'm going. And then if there is a gap, then we want to make sure that we're putting in some effort to address whatever that gap is. And so that's something for you to think about in terms of that section. And then start mapping. And so you want to set goals. You want to break down the final goal by making short-term goals. You want to look at resources that are needed to achieve these goals and give yourself a deadline. That third piece right there could not be more beneficial. All right. So looking at this reminds me of an acronym, SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. And so one of the things that's so incredibly important when you're looking at setting goals is making sure that you're specific. So I would like to, and this is just me giving myself as an example, I would like to get into a director role of leadership and development. I don't know. Let's go with that, right? And so what I'm going to do is look at job descriptions that align with that. And so where is the gap? The gap is maybe my experience as far as leadership. Maybe I don't have as much leadership experience. How can I then create opportunities to be able to showcase that? How can I address that gap? And then when am I going to have this done by? Okay. And so specific, measurable, attainable. Is it something that I can actually do in the current role that I'm in to be able to demonstrate those specific skills that I need in order to be able to move up? Is it realistic? As far as the timeliness, if I was to say I need to get leadership experience within the next week, that wouldn't necessarily be the most realistic thing. That's something we want to look at. Is it realistic? Is it something that is doable within the time frame that you're putting out? And when you say a time frame, you need to actually put a time frame in there. So by Q4, I would like to X, Y, and Z. Okay. So moving into networking and professional development. And so how can you land the job you are aiming for? So what specifically do I need to put in place? Does it mean that I need to go back to college? Does it mean that maybe I can do work with IBM Skills Build in order to get some courses that'll help me to upskill, that I can put on my resume to help me to stand out? Is it maybe a boot camp that I need to look into? What is something that I need to do in order to land the job if there is a gap that I'm able to identify? What is my strategy? What is the strategy that you're going to use in order to land the job that you are interested in? Are you going to, I was going to give an example of what you shouldn't do. And so that example of what you shouldn't do in terms of strategy would be to cast a wide net with a generalized resume. That is a strategy that sometimes people use out of desperation. I need a job right now. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as I can get my bills paid. We want to go beyond that, right? We want to align ourselves with roles that align with our values, that align with our lifestyle, that align with that work-life balance. And so what is the strategy that you're using? How are you being intentional? That's incredibly important. Are there any gaps to bridge? I've been talking about gaps for the last 15 minutes, all right? And so understand that when a recruiter gets your resume, oftentimes the time frame between the time that they open up your resume and they're going to the next one is less than 15 seconds. And so within that time frame of them looking at your resume, it should be pretty clear to an experienced recruiter where your gaps are. How are you addressing those gaps on your resume in order to ensure that your resume is being boosted up to the hiring manager as opposed to going into the pile? Okay. Do you need to make any new connections? Networking is incredibly, incredibly important. Oftentimes, I have in my past experience, and I know that this is anecdotal, and you shouldn't generalize, but there have been many opportunities that I have been presented because of who I know, or who knows me, or who knows individuals within my network. Networking is so incredibly important. And so, especially if you're wanting to get into a new industry, especially if you're wanting to get into a company, start to look to connect with individuals that are already there. If you're in are interested in a role that is maybe a reach role for you, start connecting with individuals that have the title or the role that you're hoping to get into. You connecting with them will be an opportunity for you to see what kind of experience it took for this person to get that kind of role. And so if nothing else, being able to see what experience they have, what education they have, what credentials they have could be beneficial. The individual may work within the organization, and if you all are friendly with each other, they may have the opportunity to pass your resume along or pass your name along. And so you don't want to underestimate the benefit of connecting with others. And then, are there connections already in your network that would aid you in your search? I cannot tell you enough how sometimes we can overlook the individuals that are already in our circle. So yes, I was just talking about being strategic and connecting with individuals that may be a part of the organization that you would like to be a part of. But don't forget about the network that you already have in your family. Don't forget about the network that you have in your friendships, in your affinity groups. And so you may be a part of a sorority or a fraternity. You may be a part of a Rotary Club. You may be a part of a professional club. So I'm forgetting. Well, NASW, my background is in social work and education. And so NASW, the National Association of Social Workers, is an organization of social work individuals. And so that would be a place for me to be able to start to glean from connections, because all of these individuals have a degree that's like mine. And maybe they might be able to give me insight into how the different ways in which you might be able to use your degree that maybe aren't readily thought about in terms of when you're looking at career opportunities. Okay. And so just something to think about in terms of that networking and professional development. And so you want to make your resume unique to you. How do you do that? You want to do that by targeting your resume. And so specifically, you want to ensure that you are not sending that casting that wide net and sending that generalized resume. Oftentimes, especially now, especially with how things have evolved and AI is being utilized more frequently, these organizations are using technology in order to filter through applicants. And so if your resume is a general resume and does not utilize the language and does not align with specific things that might be spoken about in the job description, even if you have transferable skills that would allow you to be a big benefit to the organization, oftentimes you get overlooked. And so it's so important that you target your resume to the role that you are looking to apply for. Okay, you want to include those personal and professional accomplishments. Y'all, I was raised culturally speaking, I was raised to not brag about yourself and to not brag about your accomplishments and to be humble. I have had to unlearn that, y'all, because no one is going to toot your horn like you can, okay? You have to have a comfortability with speaking about the different things that you have done that are going to give you an edge in terms of job opportunities. Talk about that volunteer experience. Talk about any personal projects or passion projects that you've done that demonstrate a new skill or a skill that is marketable. Talk about anything that's relevant from previous jobs that you've done. If you've done a programming, if you've done a special project, if you've created something for yourself. I've even seen someone develop an app that they did. It was a passion project, and that was able to demonstrate their ability to their grasp on technology, their ability to manage time, their ability to pivot and evolve with the times. All of those key pieces were able to be demonstrated by that person communicating about that application that they created. And so something as simple as that, something that you do for fun, could be something that you could utilize that would demonstrate your abilities. Okay, be concise and leave off unnecessary details. Now, y'all, this is something that I have to learn all the time. I can tend to be extremely detail oriented. I tend to be a contextual individual. And so I like to give a wide range of language so that I can ensure that you truly understand what I'm saying. But I have to keep in mind, just like I just spoke to you, recruiters aren't necessarily taking the time to read all of the things that you are putting down. They are giving you a set amount of time, they're skimming through, and they're going to the next one. And so you want to be as concise as possible, making sure that you are hitting those high points and that you're demonstrating what you need to demonstrate as efficiently and as concisely as possible. And I cannot stress this enough. This is the reason why it's in bold, because it's probably the most important thing that is on this page. Check spelling and grammar. If you are putting something out, that is a person's first impression of you. And so if you don't even care enough to read your own resume, and it's showing a lack of attention to detail, it's showing a lack of follow through, it's showing that maybe you aren't taking the role as seriously. It may give off an air of not caring. And so those are all impressions that we absolutely do not want to make when we are working through that career exploration and when we're looking for job opportunities. And so please, please, if you don't remember anything else that I've said, make sure that you are checking that spelling, that grammar, that punctuation. It is so incredibly important. All right. Moving right on along. This was what I was mentioning. This is so cool, y'all. The Career Dreamer opportunity. I'm assuming that there was a link that was provided. Oh, my dear, wonderful Jess. Thank you so much. Thank you for putting that into the chat for me. The link is right there. Make sure that you are clicking on that link. Y'all, I want to be able to hear from you. Remember, I said I want this to be interactive. No one wants to hear me for an hour, right? And so I want to ensure that you are clicking into the activity because I want us to do this together. All right. So I've taken that moment to give you all an opportunity to take that link and to start. Now let's get into it. Okay, so what is Career Dreamer? Career Dreamer is an experimental tool from Grow with Google that can help you to uncover hidden skills and show you how to present them confidently. With a little help from AI, you can explore new career possibilities in a simple and playful way. How does it work? You're able to shape your professional story. You're able to explore career possibilities, and then you could take the next step and map it out. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you this. I did this at the encouragement of one of my colleagues. As I was preparing for today's conversation, I did it for myself. I put in my experience, I put in my previous job title, my experience, my education, and it came out with that career identity statement for me. Y'all, I was jealous. Like, I'm like, how can they make me sound better than I can make my own self sound? Like, it sounded so good. I had to copy and paste it for my own personal use. I was just like, wow, this is me. I'm pretty amazing. That identity statement, I can't stress enough how good that identity statement was. I'm going to give you all a moment. Remember, I said that this is about to be interactive. I want to see what you all were able to put. I'm going to give you like 10, 15 seconds. I want you all to put in that information, and I want you all to copy and paste your career identity statement into the chat. Copy and paste it in. I can't wait to see it. What did y'all get? This is a good one. I am a highly organized and adaptable leader with a proven ability to manage multiple priorities and make sound decisions under pressure. My experience fostering growth and development in collaborative environments has honed my communication and emotional intelligence, allowing me to effectively navigate complex interpersonal dynamics and achieve common goals. I excel at creating supportive and stimulating environments where individuals can thrive. Yeah, that's amazing. Absolutely, 100%. I see another one. I integrate technical troubleshooting with team-centered leadership to improve both system reliability and collective performance. Drawing on my background in recreation and project management, I specialize in diagnosing operational challenges, coordinating complex schedules, and mentoring individuals to reach their potential through structured training and clear communication. Now, y'all, I know that I put you on the spot, but do you see how amazing this is? Within 30 seconds, you all were able to put in your experience, put in your education, give a little bit of information, and look what is spitting out to you. So it took me however 30 something plus years for me to be able to get an identity statement like this. And I'm definitely going to utilize it. It is so beneficial. All right, moving right on along. We're going to explore your career paths. And so once you have that statement down below, it gives you the opportunity to browse your career paths and see which ones you want to explore. Now, I will tell you this, as I was reading through the titles that came up for me, some of the titles caught my attention, and I was like, oh yeah, this looks good. But when I opened it up, when I clicked on it, I said, oh, wait a minute. This ain't for me. Though there was one that said Director of Learning and Development. And when I opened it, it said something about K through 12. And so you want to make sure that you're not just going based on the title, because those titles can sound real good. Okay. You want to make sure that you're opening it up to see what it all entails. It's going to give you information about the level of experience. It's going to give you information about the environment, like what the work environment looks like, what you could look to do on a daily basis within that particular career path. And so it's incredibly beneficial to look at that. And then you can map it out in Gemini. So once you find one that aligns with you, when you click on it, it gives you a prompt that you can then put into Google Gemini. Okay, so for the purposes of this, we've already put one in there. It says, help me to understand this role, what it entails, and how it connects to my existing background, skills, and experiences. You're going to click copy to clipboard, and then you're going to press, once you do that part that's grayed out, that says continue to Gemini, that's going to become dark for you to be able to click it. And then it's going to take you into a Gemini where it's going to give you the opportunity to be able to map it in these 3 ways. So it'll give you the option to work through your resume. It'll give you the option to create a cover letter. It'll give you the opportunity to explore those job ideas. And so it is so neat to see how this is able to be utilized and how beneficial it can be. All right. Thank y'all for humoring me with actually going in and doing that. And those that I did have the opportunity to read they were excellent. You tell me how you all felt about that activity and if you felt like that statement aligned with how you would want to be presented. I think that is awesome. And Terry agrees with me. She said, this is awesome. Absolutely, Terry. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm. I appreciate you. All right. So what is the hardest part about turning your identified skills into an actionable job search strategy? What is the hardest part about turning your identified skills into an actionable job search strategy? Talk back to me. What would you say is the hardest part about turning your identified skills into an actionable job search strategy, y'all? Rashonda, I'm so glad that you needed this. I needed you too, okay? You saying that made me feel good about myself, like I'm doing something today, all right? Just said knowing what the next step should be. Absolutely. Heather, imposter syndrome, not feeling worthy. Heather, if no one has told you this today, besides me, let me be the one to tell you, you are worthy and you're putting in the work in order to be that person that you want to be. You're putting in the effort to become who you want to be. Coming to today's session today is you putting in that sweat equity. And so if you're putting in sweat equity, you absolutely deserve it. You absolutely deserve whatever comes to you when you put the effort and the work into it. And so if no one's told you today, you are worthy. You're worthy, Heather. All right. What else am I seeing? Oh, knowing the right person to speak to. Absolutely. And this is Oliver, our person that's good with networking. Absolutely. When you are have such a vast amount of connections, who do you pinpoint in order to connect? Absolutely. Being able to fully articulate my story. Absolutely. 100%. So I had an opportunity to kind of look at that and grasp that question. And what I have identified is that the hardest part is translation, not identification. And so it's not a situation where you're not able to communicate how you're beneficial and what your skills are. It's how do you translate it to ensuring that your employer recognizes the value that you bring. Okay. And so when you look at it, the friction points tend to be mapping skills to real job roles. So people often list broad skills, that communication, project management, data analysis, but struggle to pinpoint which roles these values or skills most align with. This leads to it becoming too broad, and then you losing the punchline. So to speak, right? Proving your skills, not just stating them. That is a struggle that we're seeing. So knowing what your skills are is much easier than showing how you've used them. And so having a lack of concrete examples or metrics to demonstrate those skills could be a challenge. Okay, speaking the employer's language. And so job descriptions use specific keywords and skill frameworks to describe the skills that they're wanting to glean from the candidates for these specific roles. And so sometimes it can be a disconnect for individuals that are coming in and wanting to apply for those roles. And so that tip that I said to you before, in looking at the job description, looking at the language that's being utilized and incorporating it into your resume is absolutely helpful. But prior to doing that, that's one of the things that has been said to be a barrier. Okay, prioritizing which skills to lead with. And so the hardest part is deciding here it is. You all are absolutely amazing in every way. And you have like 50 skills that you can say that you have mastered, right? But you don't have 50 skills worth of space on your resume, right? And so you got to figure out 5 to 7 skills that are marketable, that are targeted, that are specific, that are intentional when it comes down to the roles that you are wanting to apply for and get. And so lastly, converting skills into daily job search actions. And so this is where individuals may stall. Skills don't automatically translate into actions like targeting the right job postings, tailoring resumes by role, networking with intention, preparing skill-based interview stories. So without structure, all of this can be theoretical as opposed to applicable. And so in short, when we're looking at some of the things that you all have mentioned and some of the things that I've mentioned, the hardest part is moving from I know what I can do to I know where, how, and why this skill generates value in a specific job, and then communicating that. Okay. And so what we're going to do now is going to help with that. We're going to be moving into our second activity. And let me see. She's so amazing. Thank you so much, Jess. She got me covered. Okay. So we are going into our second activity, which is the Career Mapping Worksheet. Make sure you're clicking on that link. All right. You want to click on the Career Mapping Worksheet. So for those of you that were having a bit of difficulty, be sure to know that we'll be sending all of these resources in our post-event email. So I know that some of you may be joining us not from a desktop. Maybe you're joining from your cellular phone, and trying to access these resources are a bit difficult for you to do simultaneously. No worries. Don't worry. We are absolutely going to provide it in the post-event email. Okay. So as we've mentioned, what are hard and soft skills? So we talked about that hard skills, being able to, knowing how to do that Microsoft 365 PowerPoints and Excel spreadsheets, knowing how to do a learning management system, knowing how to code. Those are those hard skills. Soft skills would be collaboration, empathy, communication, all of those. And so what you have to do in terms of this career map is you got to identify what those are. And then what other careers can I consider with the skills I currently have? And so once you've identified what those skills are, then from there, being able to identify how that's related and what other careers you might look into. This is an opportunity for you to be able to think outside the box. So maybe you have honed in on one specific area. This is an opportunity for you to be able to expand your horizons and where you might want to go. And so as you can see here, we've pre-filled some key pieces in here. And so for the transferable skills section, we've added adaptability, organization, risk management, data analysis, leadership. And then for related careers, we have added financial analyst, marketing analyst, and project coordinator under that related careers portion. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take that worksheet and you're going to go industry 1, industry 2, industry 3, and then you're going to look through and fill this out. As you can see, industry 1, we've gone with manufacturing and construction. And so we've gone from that industry and gone through level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4 for all 3 of these in order to identify what roles are available, what roles may align, if we want to pivot, how that would look, what skills you might want to look at, and what are the steps that we need in order to be able to get into the specific role that we might want to be interested in, okay? And the key piece on here is, and it's been highlighted, we want to make sure that we map out at least 3 plans, all right? So as we're looking at this, is there anything that jumps out on this sheet? Anything that jumps out for the career mapping worksheet? And so I see a tip in the chat. We recommend that this is part 2 of the Google Career Dreamer. Okay, so we want to make sure that you're doing that first and utilizing that in order to inform you on how you might want to fill out this worksheet. All right, looking at the time, want to make sure that I am giving enough time and credence for all of the important information that we have. I'm going to move right on along into activity 3, the IBM's skills gap, or filling the skills gap with IBM Skills Build. Okay. So one of the things that we discussed today was that as we're looking at what career opportunities that there may be, and where we want to go and how we might want to improve, we have to identify where our gaps lie. And once we've identified where those gaps are, then we have to do something about it. And so one of the key ways that Career Circle, is able to help you is through providing you with opportunities to upskill. And right now, one of the programs that have been extremely beneficial for our members has been IBM Skills Build. Okay. And so when you look at how these courses support you, it's going to help you to identify those gaps, take a course in order to address what that gap is, and then you can then put it within your resume, put it within your cover letter to show how you have upskilled in that area. And so if you were looking at pivoting into a role that might have included AI, you could take there's artificial intelligence fundamentals or data fundamentals. Those 2 courses help you with some technical literacy. And then once you've done that, then you could use language such as, I am certified in AI ethics and prompt engineering on your resume. I have taken a certification. I have gotten a credential in this area. That way, it is addressing the gap. It's giving you the ability to pivot for free. Let me also mention the fact that this particular program that we are offering to our members, you all have access to for free just by being a member of Career Circle. And it's through IBM, which is one of the most well-respected technology companies in the world. You all have access to that. So you want to make sure that as we're doing this and we're thinking about that career mapping, we're thinking about the AI activity that we did before in terms of creating that statement. We also want to make sure that we're utilizing the tools that we have and the resources that we have around us to also make us more marketable in the job market. And so, as you can see here, we have a QR code that you're able to utilize in order to access these courses. And so make sure that not only are you taking advantage, make sure you enroll. If you've already enrolled, make sure that you hit start so that you can continue to have access to this free resource that is going to support you as you are in the job market. All right. So with that being said, want to make sure that you remember that you want to have specific and measurable goals. You want to stay positive, but also be realistic. And how do you become realistic? By making sure that if you have gaps, addressing those gaps, upskilling, networking, doing what you can in order to truly map out how you're going to get to this next level. Pair goals with action. And so everything that you're doing in terms of these goals is for a reason. You don't just want to put something out there and let it flow into the wind. You want to actually create a plan and see it through to the end. You want to remain flexible. Understand what I started out doing or thinking that I wanted to do 20 years ago is not where I am and what I'm doing now. And so you want to make sure that you're flexible and that you're able to pivot. Okay. And then again, can't stress this any further. You want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the resources around you, and that includes upskilling. And upskilling, one of the free resources that you have already is that IBM Skills Build courses. All right. With that being said, I'm going to quickly have you all answer this question. What action will you take this week to prepare your career journey? Okay. What are you going to do from the information that you all have received? How are you going to utilize this experience? How are you going to utilize the knowledge that you now have in order to help you on your career journey? Put that in the chat for me. And as you all are doing that, I am going to start turning it over to my wonderful and esteemed colleague for the micro activity that we're going to be doing in terms of that job search site enhancement. All right, Brad.
Wonderful. Thank you for that introduction, Brittany. I don't think I've ever had anyone introduce me in such a way. It'd be called esteemed. But so just to introduce myself really quick for everyone, my name is Brad. I am, we call the product owner or the project manager here at Career Circle. And before we wrap up today, I want to give you an exclusive look at some of the enhancements that we've made on the job board. And these changes are coming very, very soon. And you all are getting the opportunity to see them first. For anyone new to Career Circle, we connect people with real in-demand skills to employers who are ready to hire. So that's our mission. And everything I'm about to show you was built to make that connection faster. And I think it's even more awesome given what Brittany was talking about with the transferable skills and everything. You all will see what I mean. But before, just want to give you a quick heads up before I dive into the demo. To get the most out of these new features that we'll be releasing, you will want a resume uploaded to your Career Circle profile. Doesn't have to be a perfect resume, but anything that we can have on you would be great. It lets us know more about your skills, and that way we can get you smarter results when you use this new tool. So without further ado, let me share my screen, and I'm hoping everyone can see. So this will be our new job search screen. So you'll see several enhancements, and I'm going to walk through some of these with you all. So the first one at the top here that we've added now are recent searches. So that will show your five most recent searches in the bar. You're able to dismiss them by clicking the X, but if you want to return to a search, I can just click here on one of them. It refills in my search, and then I have my results that come down below. So just something to help you get back to where you left off without having to start over or retype everything out. The second thing you'll notice is we've updated the filters. So we've put here now we have work settings, so that will allow us to filter by on-site, hybrid, and remote. One of the ones that was most asked for when I did speak with some members before we embarked on this was the date posted. So it defaults to any time, but if you wanted to see, are there any new jobs that have come in the last 24 hours, you can select that filter there, and it will let you know last 7 days or last 30 days. So hopefully you all can get to the freshest jobs quicker. We also added down here on this card, posted, it'll say posted today, posted yesterday, and posted how many days ago to make that a little bit more clear. The next thing, which are not in the results that I have pulled up here for you, but sometimes you will see promoted jobs. It'll say promoted in the upper right-hand corner. I just want to be transparent with you all with what that means. So our promoted jobs are roles where an employer has paid to increase their visibility, but this is the important part. They're paying to promote the jobs, so that way you all know that they are hiring urgently. The other big thing too is that you will only see these promoted jobs on jobs that are relevant to your search. So we're not going to throw a job out there for a UX designer when you're looking for IT support roles. So they will be relevant, and it will signal to you that this employer is hiring urgently. And then the part I'm most excited about here, and I think it's really cool given what you all were just speaking about with Brittany, we've added several key new features to the search results card here, and then also to the preview panel that we've created here. The very first one is what we're calling our skills match. So what's really cool is we're able to show those hard and transferable skills that are listed in the job description for you. You can see all of them on this right-hand side here. And then based off of the skills that we've parsed from your resume, we're able to show you which ones you match on with that job. It's also helpful to see all these skills too, as you're tailoring your resume towards your application for a job. What skills are explicitly called out throughout the job description. So that's really cool. We're using a tool called Lightcast. So it's only as powerful as the resume you have. So if you haven't uploaded one, you will still see the skills. You just won't see that match. The other ones here that we've added based on feedback is the years of experience, if it's provided in the job. Same thing with the salary. So when you're quickly skimming through jobs, you can see if this meets the salary needs or requirements that you're looking for, also the years of experience. And like I mentioned, the posted today. And then my personal favorite one is this tag right here that says STARS friendly. So STAR stands for skilled through alternative routes. So that means you built your skills through experience, certifications, military service, training programs, or other non-degree pathways. When you see STARS match that badge on a card, that role has been identified as genuinely open to candidates like you using data from our partner Opportunity at Work. Specifically, these are jobs where at least 25% of people currently in that role are STARS, and roles that are strong entry points or meaningful steps in your career. So we built this feature specifically with this community in mind. And if you ever forget what that means, you can hover over it right here or on the preview panel side, and it will explain to you again what the STAR role is. Just to flag this as well, if you click into a job, you will also see here what percentage of people working in a similar type role are considered STARS and have been skilled through similar pathways that you may have been. And hopefully that will give a little more confidence when you go to apply. That was very quick. That was an overview. So we're looking to do faster searching, smarter matching, more information right where you need it. Here's why I'm showing you all this today, why you all have been selected to see this. We need early testers. We need real users who can kick the tires, tell us what you found is working, tell us what isn't working. So at the end of the survey that they will, that Jess or Brittany will send out, there is one question in there where you can let them know that you would like to be an early tester. They will relay that to me, and I will give you early access to that and send out an email and let you all know. More than likely to be early next week sometime. So would love to have people use it. Tell me if you find it helpful, what isn't, what we could improve. That would be huge help for us. So thank you so much for being a part of Career Circle, and I'll see you in the job board.
Thank you, Brad. So let me just say this real quick. Did y'all hear that? He's given us access. Hello. He's given us access fresh, like fresh off the presses. The individuals on today's call is getting the opportunity to see behind the curtain. Brad, what? I feel a kind of way. I should have been the one to be able to say that you get to access it. You get to access it like Oprah used to do back in the day. All right. Before you leave, Brad, really quick, we have a question for you. What's the best resume to upload? Should I list all of my experience?
So actually the best part is you can upload multiple resumes. So if you have 2 or 3 resumes, base resumes that you use, if you upload all of those, we'll capture and collect your skills from all of the various resumes. So you don't have to have one big resume with your 20 skills. If you have 2 different resumes that are tailored for different ones, upload both of those and we'll capture all those skills for you as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Brad. All right. So I have the esteemed pleasure of being able to introduce my colleague, none other than Preet, to assess us, support us with the questions and answers portion of today's call. And so due to the time, we may only have time for one question, but what I will tell you is that my colleague Jess is going to put our LinkedIn into the chat. And so if there's something that we aren't able to get to today, we might be able to connect with you at a later time to be able to address questions for you. Okay, with that being said, welcome, Preet.
Hi, everybody. My name's Preet. I am a recruiter here with Career Circle. And yeah, looking forward to answering questions that came through in the chat.
Well, we have one burning question for you, Preet. That question is, I am afraid I won't get hired with my Google cybersecurity certificate. I have applied. I have never done cybersecurity. How can I transition into this career?
Yeah, that is definitely a really good question. So first I want to say is that this is like a very common fear, and you are not alone. There are, a lot of people out there that that are looking to make a career change, and it's definitely a thing to be afraid of. But again, you're not alone. So in cybersecurity, many people, start off without any hands-off experience, and getting that Google cybersecurity certification is a very good starting point because it shows that, you're committed and it helps you build beginner level knowledge. One way to transition into the field is sort of focus on getting entry-level internships or even like entry-level roles like a security analyst, IT support, or a SOC analyst type role. These roles are often designed for people who are still learning, and many employers expect to provide training for people starting out in cybersecurity. And also gaining hands-on experience is also important. So working on like labs, doing like small projects, or like understanding certain cybersecurity tools like SIEM can really help show that that you can apply what you've learned, and you can kind of talk with that about that experience when you do the interview. And then one of the main things I will say, networking is huge when you especially are looking to make that career change. Connecting with people in cybersecurity, and honestly in any field that you are looking to move into, connecting with people in that field, also joining like online groups and asking questions that can lead to opportunities that aren't always posted online. And in interviews, it's okay to be honest and let them know that, this is something new to you and you're looking to sort of gain more knowledge and looking to, go into that field. And what matters the most is that, you're showing your willingness to learn, your curiosity and effort that you've already put into making the transition. And personally, I will say for myself, I am one of those people who have transitioned my career. I started off with a degree in information technology. I had someone that I knew personally that was able to get me in cybersecurity, but after doing that hands-on, I felt like it wasn't the right, path that I wanted to take. So then I put myself out there and I was able to get into recruiting. I met someone personally and she told me, hey, like we have an opening at my company. It's a staffing firm, try it out. And because I knew her personally, she, referred me and I was able to start my career in recruiting. And that's how I ended up where I am today. So I will say, in the end, the main thing is put yourself out there, use LinkedIn, network yourself. And I think that will really help you transition your career in the end.
Wow. Just that one question might drop, Preet. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you so much for your willingness to share your LinkedIn in the event that someone wants to connect with you after this. Your answers were incredibly insightful. And I want to thank everyone that stayed all the way till the end to join us for today's How to Switch Careers Without Starting Over. I hope you're leaving this session feeling empowered, ready to map your career with confidence, Be on the lookout for the post-event email, which will include a recording as well as all the resources that we spoke about earlier. You can access our event survey by using the QR code earlier in the presentation or by locating it in your email. We'll be doing a raffle with all respondents, and one of you will win a Career Circle tote bag. Make sure to like and follow us on our socials to stay up to date on all updates and future events. Thank you and see you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.